Good day, and thank you for tuning in our show, The Fashion Entrepreneur. We are making this available to you as Romans Fashion Art to empower and educate our own people on the fashion entrepreneurship. Fashion entrepreneurship is nothing but the capacity of one to answer their community needs in terms of quality literacy. In 2006, the fashion industry landscape defined by agility, sustainability, and AI personalization. The current fashion is an AI-driven fashion industry. So if you are willing, we are intending to enter into the fashion field as a fashion entrepreneur, there are steps which are fundamental, and you need to pay attention to them in order for you to be successful in the industry. I'm going to name, because I've worked out around and prepared something to share with you today. If it's your first time to come across our page or our channel, I'm urging you to subscribe now and click on the notification so that you are able to get notification each time we come and share some new teaching and idea about fashion entrepreneurship. On the first field, it looks like a common thing that anyone can do. Maybe as you're listening to me, you just think that you need to take some money to buy material. First, you choose some design on the internet, and then you make it free on a sell. A lot of people have come and invest in such a manner. They've invested their money by the fee. Working in this industry for over 40 years, I had understood challenge and obstacles in the fashion industry. So I'm Mr. Roger, most they call me Robs. I am a fashion entrepreneur, and I'm here to share with you my experience in the field, hoping it's going to help you grow, it's going to help you clear your mind and work a straight plan. Without taking much of your time, please like, subscribe, share, invite more people to come and learn. Let us go to our topic of today, which is how you start a fashion business. It doesn't matter the size. It doesn't matter your capital. You want to become successful in this field from 2026. Here are the steps that I'm sharing with you from experience and research. The first thing, when you are intending to start a fashion business, you need to define niche. It's very important. You need to define your niche and why you need to define it. In a crowded market, generic doesn't sell. You must find a specific problem to solve, a very specific community to solve. Many people, they make a mistake of seeing things that people are wearing, of seeing people changing the clothes, or appreciating a certain design, and they think if they can produce it, they will sell. It's a wrong approach. If you are thinking about that, there are 50% risk of your failure. The market is not what you see, it's what you understand. You need to understand your market. So when I'm saying define your niche and why, one is identifying the gap in the market. You need to understand what your market needs and wants. That is what we say, identifying the gap. No one is walking naked around you, meaning all of us, we got something that we dress like this. We cover our body. Now, how do you go in identifying what you need to do by identifying the gap? What I mean? You need to ask yourself the following question. Are you making work leisure clothes? Are you producing for the Gen Z? Or adapting clothes for the disabled? What is your niche? Or high performance gear for urban commuters? You need to look, when you want to enter in the fashion industry, you need to have this niche. You need first to identify which category of people are you dressing. That is a very important. In my case, when I entered this industry, I had my niche back then. I was very young. I targeted a certain social class of the youth and elder whom I can supply. And it has remained my niche up to today. Even within my production, if you look at my line of clients, are people with a vision which align with mine. The kind of item we are producing, they align with the initial vision we had for this business. So when you are making your blade or your business in the fashion industry, it's a requirement that you identify first your niche. By identifying your niche, you ask yourself a question. Which category of your community are you serving? The young kid? The elder? What class social? And why they shall buy from you? Because those are the questions. It's not that you appreciate something, everyone will share the same sentiment and come and buy a coat. You need, for you to sell, you need to respond to a certain need within your community. Once you identify the game, once you select your niche, you can go now to the target audience. Before you go to the target audience, you need to develop your own, what I call USP. USP, U stand for
unique. It starts with a vision. Precision in every cut. Stitched for quality. Checked for perfection. Your fit, redefined. Your brand, realized. Art you can wear. Bold, vibrant, and uniquely yours. Crafted to endure. Luxury leather for the modern lifestyle. Romy's Fashion House. Excellence in every detail.
S stand for selling, and P stand for proposition. So meaning, once you identify the gap in the market, then you need to develop your unique selling proposition. A lot of people, when they enter the industry, you want to copy what is already in the market. Once you start doing that, copying what is already in the market, you must understand that there's nothing new that you are bringing into your community. There's nothing new that you are bringing in the industry. And without bringing something new in the industry, we don't need it. Because the industry is already been served, but it's not served sufficiently. There's always gap. And you are the right person to study those gaps because you're intending to enter the market. You usually buy clothes. You sometimes go and make your own bespoke or customized clothes. Now, ask yourself a question. What is lacking? When you enter the shop, when you go to the clothing market, or when you go to a design shop, what you want to see that is not there. Once that is identified, that is the key. You need not to develop your own unique selling, you understand, proposition. Meaning, what makes you different? It could be your price point, your unique silhouette, or your close-to-look recycling program. You need to have something that makes you unique in the field. I'll give you an example. When I entered the business, I was buying and selling. I identify one thing, that what I was already buying ready-made was not suiting the appetite of my target market. The reason it was not suiting my target market is not because my target market cannot wear them. It's because they were not comfortable to wear popular garments. So whatever I was buying, I was not having the monopoly of it. We were sharing amongst many sellers who were stocking and buying. So back then, you can buy a t-shirt from me. It can be possible that you find it somewhere else being sold, same quality. And because I did identify that niche and keep, I decided that I needed to move from buying ready-made products and started making my own product. That is where I am now. I am designing, sewing, and selling. I also sew other design from other designers and enable them to have their customized design in the market. So my business idea did fit on my personal need and my community need. There were people like me who were also selling. They did identify the same need, which I'm able to serve them today because they can still come to me and have their design produced by me exclusively for them and given to them where they're gonna sell unique product. So those are the strategies that you need to approach as a fashion entrepreneur. Now, once you finish to develop your own USP, which I explained is unique selling proposition, it's going to enable you to identify your client need and to familiarize yourself with your client psychology. You go now to your target audience. What is the target audience? In the target audience, what you do? The target audience is the people whom you are intending them to consume your product, to buy your product, to become your client. With the target audience, don't just define demography. By defining demography, just look at the age and location. No, I'm staying in this area, people here are this age group. No, I'm staying in the student area, I'm staying in the elderly area. No, no, no. Define discographic. What is to define the discographic of your target audience? I'm explaining. What are their values? Where they hang out on social media? What are their duties? Their daily frustration with clothing. I'm repeating. In the target audience, it's going to be a mistake if you just look at the demographic side of target audience. People from certain area, for people from a certain age. It would be wiser for you to target it in this way. You start looking at the discographic of your target audience. You ask what are the value, what they believe. Is a conservative target audience? Is a modernized? Is a liberal one? And you ask where they hang about. Because wherever the people go, aligning their identification with their values. You might find a community that is religious driven. You might find a community that is like. You might find a community that is type 1. They lack outing. You find a community that is a quiet, reserved one, family-oriented. So there are those challenges. In your target audience, you shall look at the discography of your target. What are they doing? For you to convince me to buy a cloth, it needs to align with my value. It needs to look in a manner in which I'm comfortable to dress them. They can be beautiful, but if the design doesn't align or reflect my value as a consumer, I won't be attracted to purchase it. If you are able to identify the value of a client, they are hanging out at a place. It can be on the social media, on a physical place, on an event place. You got already an idea now about who are you going to sell. Then you start identifying them. What kind of frustration are they having with their clothes? Is it the quality of the fabric? Is the sizing of the clothes? Is the cost of the clothes? Is the quality of the sew? Or is the absence of a certain category of outfit which they truly need, but is not available to them? In this first point, if you can understand, you can go now to the second point. Build a defensive brand identity. When you want to enter in the field of fashion entrepreneurship, you are creating a brand, and you need to learn how to define it, to protect it, to promote it. A brand is not created out of emotions. A brand is created out of vision, out of purpose and goal. Your brand is like your castle. Your brand is what's going to identify you and what's going to last you for a long time. How do you protect the brand? You start protecting and defending your brand by giving it a story. You can never succeed in 2026 in the fashion industry if your brand does not tell us a story. If your brand doesn't tell us a story, if your brand has no identity, if your brand has no meanings, people won't be interested, regardless of how beautiful you are. So whatever you are designing something, you need to speak to the community. You are like an artist. You design art. That's why I see most people who are going to copy and paste, they are failing. Because they don't associate themselves with their brand, but they want to represent the brand that they don't understand. Every single brand that you see succeeding, it had a history which we relate to. What are your stories? Because in 2026, consumer won't only consume product. No. They want to know why this brand exists. Especially that you're a newcomer in the market. They don't know you. Right now, you're watching us. You are working on so beautiful design, which once you release them, we'll appreciate. But at this particular moment, we don't know you. You need to bring us your story to make your brand interesting to us. That's why it's important to create and have a brand story. What is motivating you in the industry? That's your story. What inspired you to become a fashion entrepreneur? That's your story. And that story can resonate with a lot of people. But you need to tell us that story through your creativity. There must be something in a brand which gonna always remind us about your brand story and give it more value. And there's also what we call the spoken language, the visual language. Establish a color palette, typography, and logo. Ensure that these are consistent across your website, social media, and packaging. Visual language. You don't need to be making video to speak about your brand. You need to give it an identity with an unspoken language. Which quality logo do you put there? When everyone sees it, they know that it's your brand. Your presence on the mainstream social medias, websites, online, on the internet. You cannot expect to sell all your products to a limited community. When you identify your niche, your targeted audience, they can be all over the world. So your product as a fashion entrepreneur needs to be available to the market, the world market, the universal market. I'm witnessing a lot of young designers and new startups. When they start, they got a limited vision. It doesn't matter where you are located. From where I am, I'm able to consume the brand. We buy brands in shops. We don't even know where their factories are. So when you are going into a target market, don't target your community because you belong to a certain community. The members of those community are your sole consumer. They're gonna buy the first round, the second round, they won't buy. You're gonna have clothes to you won't sell them. And they won't be bad luck, it's just the lack of information. You don't expose yourself, your brand out there, yourself and your brand. You need to expose yourself and your brand out there so that people they can know you.
It starts with a vision. Precision in every cut. Stitched for quality. Checked for perfection. Your fit redefined. Your brand realized. Art you can wear. Bold, vibrant, and uniquely yours. Crafted to endure. Luxury leather for the modern lifestyle. Romy's Fashion House. Excellence in every
So
detail.
that people they can understand what you are offering. And people they can appreciate the work that you have done. So it's very important that when you're working as a fashion entrepreneur on your brand, you start working, you have your logo, you have everything that needs to position them. You got a good message which you pass to convince people to come and consume your product. And then when you are doing all this, you need to check availability. Ensure that brand name is available as a domain. You can select a name, but if it's not there, you cannot go and add brand, for example, Rome01. It's gonna be a bit shaky because there's gonna be another Rose. So you need to check that your brand is available on the domain. Once your brand is available on the domain, you can own it. And you also need to check that your brand got a unique name across all the social media. Because there's no point for you to come and say, I'm Romy's Fashion House. But when people go on the internet, they find many Romy's Fashion House. They won't be able to locate yours. It's a lack of business and income. You need to develop your unique identity. That's why your brand needs to come with history. Because when your brand is coming with history, you gonna have a unique identity to give or a name. And when you are in the fashion industry, socializing needs to be part of you. No fashion designer lives in isolation. Because in this field, we share idea. We connect and work as a team. Even me, who's talking to, I'm working with a team. With time, I'll be showing you how we work inside the factory. That was our second point, which I was telling you to say, build a defensive business. Meaning, you have to have a brand story. You have to work on a unspoken language, which we call visual language. And then you need to check on availability of your brand name, your brand domain across all social media. Once you finish that, then as the intended or a new fashion entrepreneur in 2026, you need to master the 2026 fashion calendar. A lot of people do not understand or know that we got a fashion calendar, which fashion designer need to always refer to for them to make their business relevant, profitable, and present in the market. Modern fashion move a two-speed core and capsule. The modern fashion move a two-speed, the core and the capsules. Core program. They are your evergreen. These are your evergreen. I mean, I'm going to give to you the core programs. These are your evergreen bread and butter. Item with no longer lead time and IGA merging. Rapid capsule, smaller trending responsible, drop that keep your brand relevant. So on the core program, there are certain items in the fashion industry, even if you are making clothes, those accessories, they're gonna enable you to be in movement. They can attract other people to consume your product. Many designers, they make a mistake. You release clothes to stop them. We don't work all that. It depends on your line. If you are selling male clothes, make sure, even though you don't produce belts, but got nice belt around that. Got nice ties there. Nice wallet. Male accessory. Have nice socks. Even if it requires you to purchase some sneakers or shoe, you put there. Somebody will be attracted by the shoe. When they come closer to it, they end up buying your garment. When you're making human clothes, there are too much accessory. Scarf, handbag, wallet, belt. You know the cup of accessories that women need. Because that is to spicing, they become your bread and butter. They can give you survival income on a daily basis, where your main product may not be selling on a daily basis. And then when we say rapid capsules, are those small things that I'm telling you, those accessories. We call them rapid capsules. Something that a person wanting twice to buy, but they got more profitable. You are welcome to ask me specific questions in the comment. I'll answer. And then we are progressing. You go to the tech pack and non-negotiable. Never approach a manufacturer without a professional tech pack. Blueprint including measurements, material, and stitching material details. It prevents costly error and ensuring quality. As a fashion entrepreneur, you don't need to be lazy. Before you go and see a manufacturer like Rome's Fashion House to produce your garment, it's going to be speed and better for you. Cost efficiency. If you do your research first, based on your design, how many meter of material or fabrics you might need to design, what kind of accessory you might need to add, how much it's going to cost you. You do your math. You go online, you search for fabric shops, you engage with them, you ask for them a price list. You identify the fabric which you work the cost. You go on the internet. You ask the type of design that you are doing with a certain set of fabric which you want to use. How much it's going to cost you, more or less. From there, we shall be able to understand now that, okay, I'm going to spend this. When you go to see your manufacturer, you won't be hesitant. You're going to have everything. You say, here I come, Mr. Romis. I want to produce 50 garments. Each garment costs me 2 meters. This is the fabric I'm using. And this is the accessory I need. That shows even to the manufacturer that you understand much. Now, in an event where you are young, you are learning. For you to learn and benefit.
It starts with a vision. Precision in every cut. Stitched for quality. Checked for perfection. Your fit redefined. Your brand realized. Art you can wear. Bold, vibrant, and uniquely yours. Crafted to endure. Luxury leather for the modern lifestyle. Romy's Fashion House. Excellence in every
There
detail.
is free service consultation. They won't give you much information. Ask your advisor, I need a paid consultation. Because when you pay, you sit down with them, you identify your issues, they enable you how to overcome them. They can even assist you in getting what you want, what you need during that playtime. A lot of people fail because they are stingy. You go and buy material, you buy accessory, you pay for photo shoot, you pay for the model, but you're not willing to pay for consultation with your manufacturer, the person will need to give life to idea. Because you got the idea with you, but the idea needs to get a life. The idea needs to get a life. It's like you're pregnant, you need to deliver. And your manufacturer is the doctor who assists you in delivering your baby healthy. You don't need to fight with manufacturer, they're gonna sabotage your business. You don't need to put unnecessary pressure on the manufacturers. You're gonna lower your credibility. You might think as a client, you got the power, but your relationship with manufacturer in the fashion industry is very important. You got a good service provider, you're gonna sell good quality clothes to your market, you're gonna make money. You got a bad service provider, you're gonna make a lot of loss, get bad quality service and close business. As a fashion entrepreneur, you need to build bridges because your business depends on social network. You need to build bridges, not to burn them. You need to partner with your manufacturers, with your service providers. You don't need to be sorry, I had to close the door. Where at work, you understand. We're at work and there are people coming at the reception. So now, you need to build a relationship with your service provider because that relationship gonna help both of you. And then we are going to our fourth point and last one for today. Ethical sourcing and product. Sustainability is no longer a bonus, it's a market anti-requirement. Sustainability is no longer a bonus, it's a requirement in the market. The market requires sustainability. Choose your model. White label buying existing high quality brand and aiding your brand fastest and lowest risk. Customs, CMT, cut, make, and trade. CMT, cut, make, and trade. Designing from scratch, highest control and highest cost. And let me vet manufacturers. Look for ethical certification. WAP Good, Fair Trade. In 2026, nearshoring product producing clear closer to is popular to reduce shipping time and carbon footprint. On this first part, we're going to stop here today by our ethical sources and production. Who needs to produce your garment? And how you need to produce your garment to be cost efficient. You need to check for renewed manufacturers, people with either certification that qualify them, or people with long-term experience in the field. Like we're using Rome's Fashion today. Rome's Fashion House has been in this field producing mass production for over 15 years. A manufacturer like that will never go wrong because they've got the equipment, they've got the skill, they've got the experience and the knowledge and the network. As well, when you are producing your garment, in 2026, you don't need to produce the things far away. You need to eliminate the cost of couriering, the cost of shipment. I will encourage you, if around you, locally, in the country where you're watching, you can produce locally there. You better produce there. Put it in the universal market from there. We're gonna order from there to our destination. You can sell your product worldwide, but you need to choose your model of production, which gonna make sustainability part of the brand. Because without sustainability, forget about it. This is our first part in the fashion entrepreneurship. We're gonna come with a second, third, fourth, and fourth. It's all dependent. Here is a fashion. I hope you like it. Share with us your comment. Let us know what you want us to teach about this third fashion entrepreneurship. You are welcome to subscribe, you're welcome to share, you're welcome to ask comment, and you're welcome also to come and visit us at Runways Fashion House, where we are based in Baku, Santon, north of Johannesburg. You might be one of those who need a reliable supplier and service provider. We are here for you. Like many others are benefiting. Maybe you've been seeing our clothes somewhere in the market to other designers, and you've been asking who are producing this kind of clothes for them. You'll find Runways Fashion House at number 10, Baku Drive, in Baku Santon, in the Bridge Shopping Center, Shop 1, Corner Top Shop. See you our next one. Keep well, and all the best 2026 fashion designer. Will keep on your embassy, Mr. Roger. Your